China and Russia are synced on many fronts, and they are basically on the same page. So Russia can only choose CCP, and CCP can only choose Russia at this moment. Xi Jinping has this, long-term determination. He wants to be a leader against the Western society, against the United States. He had this in his mind for a long time, and now he's joined force together with Russia. And the world will facing bigger threats. Hello, everyone. Welcome to China Insight. I'm Sean Lin. Well, you can see we are shooting at a very different setting today because I'm actually inside a hotel room at a business trip. But today's program will talk about Russia President Putin's visit to China last week. What was the outcome, and what will be the potential impact to global society when China and Russia have all-encompassing collaboration now? And we will also share a little bit of clips that went viral on the social media last week. And actually, it happened at the last moment of Putin's visit to China. So first, let's talk about the timing. What is unique this time? You probably know that Xi Jinping and Putin already met over 40 times in the last few years. And what is unique this time? So there are several aspects actually very important in terms of timing. First, this is actually Putin's first international visit after his new presidential terms, right? Putin had a major celebration on May 9th in Moscow, but Xi Jinping could not join. He was actually on a trip to Europe. So now Putin bring many of his cabinet levels, high-ranking officers, plus many entrepreneurs to visit China. That means it's a major diplomatic, economic move for Putin. And also, this is the first international trip that Putin take after he was actually designated as a war criminal by the Hague International Court, right? So Putin's visit to other countries may facing very, very big problems, if he is a war criminal, right? So he actually chose China for his international visit. And the third aspect, everybody understands now that Russia does not have a mighty military power. So this is not the beginning of the Ukraine war, or even before Ukraine wartime. Many people saying, oh, Russia's military is far more superior than Ukraine, and Russia can take over Ukraine in a few months. Now everybody see Russia is actually trapped in a war, even though recently Russia made some serious aggression against the second biggest city in Ukraine. But everybody understand that Russia actually suffered tremendously in terms of manpower loss, financial loss under international sanctions, and their economy is in deep trouble. So this is the timing when Russia really needs CCP's money in order to maintain its power, to maintain its war machine. So the timing is very different. China is at a weaker position, and so at the same time, very importantly, CCP is also in a very challenging situation. Maybe challenging situation is a eulogy for the situation now, because in the international community, Xi Jinping is being criticized heavily by many Western countries because evidence already surfaced that Xi Jinping basically funded and maintained a war machine for Russia, right? So it's very clear CCP sending all the machineries, semiconductors, microelectronics tools to Russia, right? And CCP also under huge financial crisis internally and huge unemployment rate, real estate bubbles bursted, many of these crises now. And Xi Jinping definitely want international investment to stay in China as long as possible because it is already experiencing huge influx of foreign investments. So Xi Jinping is in a big dilemma. So on one hand, he had to handle the pressure from international leaders. He had to show, he's not, selling military weapons to Russia. He had to talk to Emmanuel Macron to Wonderlands in his Europe trip. He had to say, "Oh, I'm still a peace lover. I'm not selling the weapons to Russia directly." Right. So that's one important part he need to play, because without foreign investment in China, the economy will sink down very fast in China. But at the same time, from ideology perspective, Xi Jinping clearly treat Russia as a main strategic partner in order to, be together to be against the Western ideology. And so this is quite a dilemma for Xi Jinping to play. But let's look at how Putin was treated in China, and we clearly who was more dear to Xi Jinping's heart. And so Putin's plane actually arrived very early in the morning. It's actually 4:20 a.m. in Beijing. That's a very strange moment, right? Which leader want to visit another country before the sun comes out? It's kind of simplifying that these two countries collaborate in the darkness, right? It's a bad sign. But anyway, it did happen. But CCP clearly rolled out all the red carpets for Putin. So the red carpet covers all the way from Putin's plane to his special envoy vehicle. And Xi Jinping also designate a high-ranking female officer, and the only high-ranking female officers in CCP's hierarchy. Her name is actually Chen Yiqing. So Chen Yiqing is a state counselor in charge of culture, education, and public health. So her rank is vice premier. And so this is the only female CCP top leaders. And she's a beautiful lady, and is from minority ethnic group called Baizhu, from Guizhou province, southwest of China. And actually, people in the past, actually last year, still believing Chen Yiqing had a chance to actually into the Politburo, CCP's Politburo, the real core leadership of the CCP, but she did not make it. But now, actually, Xi Jinping chose her to greet Putin, the most important partner for Xi Jinping. So that may signify that, in the future, maybe bigger role will given to Chen Yiqing. And this is kind of also correlated with, recent news that Xi Jinping's wife, Pen Liyuan, actually hold a very important military position in the military organization. Pen Liyuan was actually one of the members in a committee in charge of evaluating military high-ranking officers, right? So in the future, people believe that Xi Jinping's wife, Pen Liyuan, will maybe join the political arena in a very significant way. And so now maybe Chen Yiqing is another female officer will also play an important role in the future. So anyway, Xi Jinping chose Chen Yiqing to agree with to greet Putin at the airport. And from the video clips, you can see these two actually interact very nicely. And of course, Putin will enjoy being greeted by a beautiful lady from China. So this is actually one diplomatic move that Xi Jinping want to tell the world that he valued the relationship with Putin very strongly, and he had an extraordinary personal touch with Putin. This is this kind of a message conveyed through these special greetings. So what did Putin want for his visit to China? Well, Putin brought a huge entourage for his visit to China. Not only did he bring 5 deputy ministers, he also bring the governor for Central Bank of Russia. He also bring the minister for finance, minister for natural resource, and other high-ranking officers, and together with a group of top entrepreneurs from Russia. And actually, before his visit, he made a major operation regarding his personnel selection in his new government. He, in one go, he chose 10 deputy ministers across the government agencies. And he also made a very important change for the defense minister. So if the new defense minister is Belasov, and to replace previous Shoigu, right? So Shoigu will actually put in the position as a secretary for Russia Federation's Security Council. But Belasov is actually an economist. He's not a military personnel. So it's very strange that Putin actually choose an economist to be a minister of defense. What does that mean, right? So, bringing so many high-ranking officers and very important for his new presidential term to visit China. So that clearly indicating that even Putin is making major adjustments, and his focus actually probably, is how to make Russia survive in this wartime, right? So he put in an economist as a minister for defense, indicating he understands Russia's war machine, you know, need to be sustained by a wartime economy. So let me repeat it. It's a wartime economy for Russia now. So he thinks that it's more important to put the economist as a defense minister than someone like, Shoigu have military background, have no military battle strategies, whether it's tactic or strategic moves, right? That's military operation. But to put in now how the country can survive in the wartime. So how to run wartime economy is more important. So that, I think underscore the whole purpose for putting the visit. He won the money. He won all kinds of technology support from China. He won the energy purchase from China in order to support his wartime economy, right? So from that perspective, we can look at the agreement that China and Russia signed, and you can understand more, what Putin won this time. So Putin signed a comprehensive agreement with China, and actually the agreement title is really long. Let me read it. It's called the Joint Statement of People's Republic of China and Russia Federation on deepening the comprehensive strategic partnership of coordination for the new era in the context of 75th anniversary of China-Russia diplomatic relations. Right, the title is a mouthful. But actually, one little thing here, the title has mistake because Russia-China doesn't have 75 years. Russia only established after the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, right? So the part of history of 75 years actually is relationship with Soviet Union. So I think the CCP is intentionally, kind of mess up this whole relationship of the historical perspective, just try to make people think that China and Russia have a long time relationship. And, during history, even CCP has a very terrible relationship time with Soviet Union, and so the relationship is not always stable. So, so the long title indicating they actually try to, mess up things together so that the international society may have a wrong impression. Who didn't know the history may have a wrong impression of China and Russia always together. Totally wrong, right? So anyway, the statement indicating, the China Russia collaborating on many fronts. The whole statement is 12,000 words, and it covers, from infrastructure to AI technologies, from crop trading to aerospace technology, from water, environmental monitoring to, sending overseas students, from theatrical cultural performance to prevention and treatment of infectious disease. So it's very, all-encompassing collaborations. It's like China and Russia, link each other from every front. So this is very interesting joint collaboration, technical equipments, industrial equipment, agriculture productions, they have just, lined each other very well, in terms of diplomacy, securities, and other international affairs. So basically through these, comprehensive agreement, through this strategic partnership, comprehensive strategic partnership, China and Russia are synced on many things, many fronts, and they are basically on the same page. So in my own words, this is like two big boats forcefully joined together, linked together, welded together, so that if one boat needs to sink, it can drag the other boat down, right? But actually, this is two boats. They are sinking, all have sinking problem right now. They're all sinking down, but they all hope by link each boat together, they will sink down slower. They try to rescue each other, but the big problem if you link two boats together, if one boat has a fire, then the other boat has no way to escape. So it may actually bring down the two boats faster than they expected. So this kind of joint relationship has, temporary effect to make each country, make each economy last longer. But when it really collapse, the both country will collapse together faster. So that's a risk they are taking. But for Xi Jinping and Putin, they probably have no choice right now. Look at the international community. What other friends they have, right? And maybe Iran, maybe North Korea, but they are too little scale in terms of economy, in terms of national strengths, right? Overall, it's much smaller. So Russia can only choose CCP, and CCP can only choose Russia at this moment. And so that's the whole situation, right? And also, it's very interesting to look at the term they use in agreement, right? Let me quote some words here. So in the statement, it says, major changes are accelerating in the world, and countries that adhere to hegemonisms and power politics run counter to this and attempt to use rule-based order to replace and subvert the recognized international order based on international law. And the two sides emphasize the China's concept of building a community with a shared future for mankind, and a series of global initiatives are of great and positive significance. End of quote. So these are the language using in this comprehensive agreement. It's very clearly that they portray the United States and many Western country leadership as they are the subversive against international order based on international law, right? It's kind of ironic because if you look back, even just 1 or 2 years ago, Xi Jinping want to emphasize, want to convey the message to the United States, saying, "Oh, we want to be a responsible stakeholder. We want to follow the rule-based international order." But now Xi Jinping totally changed the language together with Russia, blaming the United States is the one actually violating international laws. And so Xi Jinping positioned himself, he actually provide a new vision, new leadership for the mankind, join fates together, right? And actually, when using this language, Xi Jinping is actually putting Putin as a little brother, because Putin in the past did not recognize these kind of terms. So this is the first time in the joint agreement that Putin recognize Xi Jinping's contribution to the humankind, about his new vision, about his new order, about joint fate for the humankind, right? So in this way, Putin gave a eulogy to Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping need this kind of international recognition to show his political strengths, right? And that may help him win any internal power struggles inside the CCP. So this is a kind of exchange flavor. So this is actually exchange favors for these two dictators. So the language here is important. So also indicate very clearly it's an illusion. If you think, condemning CCP, supporting Russia, doing some sanction, it's like a slap on the wrist to CCP and Russia. They won't change. They are bound to work on this path together now. In the past, maybe Xi Jinping has this, long-term determination. He wants to be a leader against the Western society, against the United States. He had this in his mind for a long time. And now he's joined force together with Russia. They are all, clearly hard-headed on this path together now. They are bonded together. They are two sinking boat together, bonded each other in this way. And so if we have this clear picture in our mind, we'll understand more about the whole situation right now. So besides the comprehensive strategic partnership agreement that Xi Jinping and Putin signed together this time, what other things that Putin has obtained during his visit? The report indicated there are over 11 major agreements the two parties prepared to sign during this summit. But there are definitely other trade and technology agreement they prepare to sign and not release to the public, so nobody knows the secret deals, right? But there's one important agreement, one important progress that we need to highlight. So this is about the natural gas pipeline. The project is called the Power of Siberia 2, and it is a major natural gas pipeline to be built between Russia and China. It crosses over 3,550 miles in distance. And actually, there are about 950 miles will be in the land of Mongolia. So this project has actually been debated for over 10 years now. And Chinese government have, tossed around these ideas for many times. And Chinese government is very hesitating and push forward. But this time, actually, they agreed to move this project forward. And this news was actually broke out by Russia's Deputy Prime Minister, Alexander Novak. So Novak told the press that Russia is ready to review and sign the project. So basically, this is a green light for this project. And Chinese government must make an important concession on this topic because there were major concerns the Chinese government have been holding for a long time. One is that the Chinese government already have a major natural gas pipeline between China and Russia, and that's the Power of Siberia 1 project. And this project already started serving natural gas to China. And by next year, it will reach to its full capacity, so about 38 billion cubic meter. So it's about 38 cubic meters every year. China also have already signed major energy deals with Turkmenistan and Qatar. So China is not in the big demand of natural gas from Russia at this moment. So that's one major reason. And the second reason is that Russia in the past always charged pretty high for the natural gas and the oils, right? So Chinese government feel they suffer economy loss in order to gain a friendship with Russia. And those deal was actually before the Ukraine war. When CCP still look up to the Russia, feel they are the mighty big brothers. But now, the Ukraine war totally changed the storyline now. So CCP will feel they have much better bargain powers right now. So Chinese government feel probably they can get a good deal with Russia at this moment, right? So this is actually a very, very different scenario. So maybe Xi Jinping was pressure on Putin that they need to lower the price of the natural gas if they wanted to, if they want the project to move forward. So maybe Xi Jinping is squeezing Putin to get a good deal out of this. That's why Chinese government agreed to move forward. But at the same time, Russia's always take advantage of the situation that China always need Russia to back up them in many other international affairs. So maybe put the price at significantly higher than the market value, maybe lower than what they offered to China before from the Power of Siberia 1 project, right? So we could do a survey here. If you think Xi Jinping get a very good price deal for the natural gas for the Power of Siberia 2 project, you can choose A. If you think Putin actually want bigger, you can choose B. We can see what's the outcome later on. So this is price concern. And then another third major concern the Chinese government have been hesitating to push this project forward is about relationship with Mongolia. Because China does not have a very good relationship with Mongolia in the last few years, because the Mongolian government is actually very vigorously driving forward to build better relationship with United States and Japan, especially on rare earth minerals. So this totally disrupt CCP's plan that they want to dominate on these rare earth minerals, so they can outcompete the major Western countries on this very precious resource for semiconductor industries or other industrial process. Right? So China's relationship with Mongolia become tricky, and Chinese government do not, want to have a major political risk because if Mongolian were upset with CCP, for example, CCP has, initiate some cultural eradication process in the inner Mongolia, and it triggered huge anger among Mongolian people. So even though it happened inside, China in the inner Mongolia area, but people in Mongolia, in outside Mongolia, in out Mongolia, were not happy about it either. So they also make uh, China's relationship with Mongolia deteriorate too. So, if CCP do anything further more aggressive, if the Mongolian China's relationship deteriorates faster than planned, then the pipeline that's in the Mongolian territory will face political pressure maybe to stop the transmission. So CCP were facing this kind of risk. So that's why CCP was hesitating to drive this project in this Power of Siberia 2 project forward. And to construct such a big project, and in the past, Russia was asking CCP to put the money down to do the whole construction. But now, the CCP is urging Russia to put the deposit first. The Russia need to pay for the construction at least for significant, very significant part. So that's a situation different. But overall, this is a very symbolic agreement that it convey a very strong message to the Western society because indicating that Russia is trying to make up the loss through selling more energy to China. And China give Russia more money in order for Russia to sustain the war with Ukraine. So this is the core message. So the real deal is here, not necessarily how much the natural gas cost. So in this negotiation process, we can see that China is giving support to Russia. So what can Xi Jinping get in return? China is not necessarily in big demand of natural gas, right? So what Xi Jinping wants from Putin? So in my speculation, Xi Jinping definitely want Putin to back him up on other international affairs, such as when China have conflict happens with maybe Philippines on the South China Sea or with Taiwan on Taiwan Strait. So under this scenario, China will need Putin to back him up on an international stage. Otherwise, China will be the only one to be blamed. Right? So I think that's what Xi Jinping wants from Putin. Maybe he gets certain promise from Putin, and that's why he give a lump sum great deal to Putin. Right? So I agree. Even the pipeline that doesn't benefit China too much financially, economically, even for natural resource why China do not need more natural gas from Russia. So that's why I think here the key benefit is still the political aspect that Xi Jinping wants. He probably feel that even sacrifice national interest, he can gain something back from putting support on international stage. So that's an overall deal right now. So, and this relationship between Putin and Xi Jinping is getting closer through these summit. And we actually can see a very interesting episode at the end of the Putin's visit. So, Putin and Xi Jinping has, some secret talk, and they actually, took stroll in the Zhongnanhai compound. They talked quite a while and only, brought their own individual interpreters walk along the Zhongnanhai compound, have some secret talk. Nobody knows what did they talk. And at the end, Xi Jinping personally escort Putin to his car. And to Putin's surprise, Xi Jinping actually hugged Putin. Putin was actually surprised. He hesitated for about 2 seconds and then responded. So these two bears hug each other. And this actually surprised the international press. And this little video became a viral video last week. Because Xi Jinping rarely do this kind of move. He is usually very uh, uh, conserved in front of the camera and sometimes even appear very rigid. And he rarely smile. He want to poise as a world leader. His persona is that I'm a world leader, and I'm giving good direction for humankind. That's what Xi Jinping overall impression to the whole world. He rarely smile, so that's why it's very rare moment that he actually proactively hug Putin. But that indicates, that's a very, very important message that these two dictators, they are united much stronger than before. Right? So you probably can recall in 2023, on February 21, when Xi Jinping finished visit in Moscow. So he shook hands with Putin at the time, right? And he actually uh, told Putin that they were making major change in history. He called it a 100-year impact, right? So it's like a century impact they were making. And actually Putin responded. He agreed. So these little conversation, at the end of the visit was actually shared in the media last time. But this time, these two party hugs, and nobody knows what was their secret conversation at that hug moment. And all the video clips that was released on the media, on the social media, actually was provided by uh, Russia media and as well by AFP. But the audio part was actually, totally silenced out regarding the conversations. So nobody knew exactly what was the conversation at the moment. Well, um, if you look at the detail, even Putin was surprised by Xi Jinping's hug. That means, both parties not completely in sync in terms of, the warmthness about the intimacy, about the relationship between these two dictators or the relationship between these two countries. China and Russia can have, these kind of collaboration without limit, uncapped, right? Even this time in the press, they did not use this word uncapped. But you can see the collaboration is very comprehensive. So that's why I describe it. It's like two sinking boats bomb each other together in order to slow down the sinking. But it actually means that these two dictatorships, have better understanding of each other right now if they can hug together. But also indicating that both parties does not trust each other, completely. Because it's an interest-based relationship, so that's why Putin was a little bit surprised that Xi Jinping wanted to hug him. Yeah. So these two countries at currently, they have a very strong relationship, even maybe stronger than like military alliance. They did not call themselves a military alliance. They only called it strategic partnership. But in terms of collaboration, it's in so many areas, probably in all fronts. That's why it's unprecedented. And so these two countries kind of bound their fate together. And that's why I also emphasizing that China now enter into war economy time, even though they did not engage in the Ukraine war directly, but through these bonding with Russia, China is suffering wartime economy together with Russia. And so that's the situation. And the world will facing bigger threats because once these two dictators come into a stronger bond, they probably dare to make even more aggressive moves, maybe on the South China Sea, maybe on Taiwan Strait, maybe Russia will further back up, CCP when the situation change. So I think the whole world in a big danger. But at the same time, we need to understand their relationship is fragile. So anytime if CCP, if Xi Jinping sees Russia has no return and their economy cannot be saved or compensated, or it is beyond CCP's capacity, CCP will probably break up this relationship. So it's basically Communist Party never uh, fulfill their promise anyway. So why Russia need to trust CCP? Why Putin need to trust Xi Jinping on his promise at this moment? So it's an interest-based friendship. It will break out when the situation change. That's my prediction. So thank you for watching today's program. I'm Sean Lee. We'll see you next time.